Okay guys, going to do a quick tutorial here to revisit how to add a mask, teach you a new way to edit a mask, and how to complete this assignment that you have currently. It's in the assignments folder in Photoshop Skills. The assignment is masking the animal face, and the files you need to use for half of the assignment are here. The other half you will find yourself. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm in this gallery, and I'm going to double click on this guy. I'm going to right click here, and I'm just going to say copy image. And I'm going to use Alt Tab or Command Tab to get over to Photoshop. Lift my thumb, I'm going to be here. Now I wanted to select this guy first because then when I click New File, it's on the clipboard, and Photoshop knows that. So it knows what size to make my new file. So I can click Create. I can paste in that photo. I'm going to do a second thing. That is, I'm immediately going to duplicate my layer. Okay. And then I'm going to select the first one, I'm going to lock it and make it invisible. That's my lossless editing. If I screw this layer up, I just copy it again and start over. So it keeps me from losing files. Now I got to get a second picture. I got to get an animal face because we're going to merge the two. Then go with my buddy the gorilla here. Again, right click, copy image. Gonna hit Command Tab until I get to Photoshop. And I'm not going to create a new file. I'm going to use this one because it's already here. I am going to create a new layer. Okay. Paste into that. Going to do the same thing and duplicate it. Going to lock that. And I'm going to move my other safety layer down here. Now, I have a color image and a black and white. So I'm going to make this guy black and white. So I've got that layer, the gorilla layer selected. I'm going to go up to image, down to adjustments, over, and then drag down to black and white. It's going to give me a bunch of options, but I'm just going to take what it gives me. Okay, so now I have a white layer and a black layer. So I got these two layers that I'm going to merge. I'm going to merge them so that half of it is human and half of it is gorilla. But I'm going to merge it slowly, gently, so that the transition is not just a simple line. So they kind of blend together. So I'm going to need parts of the face to line up. I can, at another point, you'll learn how to remove the glasses. So I'm just going to leave them in for this demo, but we will be working with spot brush tools soon to show how to remove those things. So I will keep those similar. But first thing I'm going to tell you to do is go to the top layer and change, this is temporary. We're just going to do this to line things up. We're going to move this guy to 50%. So we just want to look and see how the eyes line up, okay? Because we want the eyes to line up. So I'm going to get my tools back. I closed them because they were open in a weird spot in a weird place. I'm also going to get this back to black and white. Notice right here, our two colors. I just click that and whatever colors I had go away. We're only working with black and white when we do layer masks, okay? Also, this arrow flips them, white and black and white. Even easier, so you don't have to come over while you're working, I can just tap the X key and do the same thing. Flip back and forth. Okay. And that's important because black is essentially your eraser and white is your put backer. So being able to toggle between them allows you to work efficiently. All right, I'm going to use my move tool right now. I'm going to tap V or grab it up here. Okay, because I want to line these guys up. I'm actually going to go to this layer and try to line the eyes up. I'm going to have some difficulty for a couple reasons. The human face is smaller, okay, and the eyes are a little bit further apart or narrower. So I'm going to click the human layer, go to Command T, and stretch it a bit. I'm also going to, with Command T, with it selected this way, I can come off the corner and get the rotate because it's slightly rotated. Okay. So I can rotate it a smidge and get those eyes lined up, maybe just a little bit bigger. Okay. Now I'm going to look at the nose. The gorilla has the nose much deeper, nostril here, nostril down here. I'm going to cheat it a bit. I wouldn't normally do this with a photo because I'm distorting the guy. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to stretch him to get those noses more aligned. But since I'm being artistic, I'm going to do that. Okay. So on an actual, and it looks like I'm going to have to rotate back a little bit too. Get the eyes to line up. Don't forget you can use your arrow keys to bump. Okay. All right. So now we've got that done. So I'm going to restore this to 100%. And now I'm going to do the step. You're going to work with the top layer because you're going to take away some of the top layer and let the bottom layer show through. I think this is backwards, the black and white. So I've thought of a way to think of it that might help you. If you think of the black as acid, black, it's acid, it's going to eat away this layer when I slather it on there. That might help you remember it. And the white is antacid. The white is Tums. I don't know. All right. Now that's probably more relevant to folks my age. So I'm on this layer. I've clicked the mask button here at the bottom of the layers palette. Palette is this. It's just whatever tools you have, all this chunk of machinery for that thing. This is considered a palette. You can grab the tab of the palette, put it where you want it. Okay. I often have my layers palette out here. So please remember that. When I say palette, that's what I mean. So there's my mask I created by clicking this button at the bottom of the layers palette. Now I'm immediately going to edit that mask. Just to remind you, but it's not how I want you to do this assignment because I want you to pick up a new skill. We actually worked with a mask twice before. We did our text tool. We use a text mask to bring text through. And we used a gradient tool to mask something else, okay? Goes from black to white. It creates a gradient mask, okay? So as I play with that, it gives me opacity. Okay, that's a mask. I'm going to Command Z to get rid of my gradient now. All right. But we're not using the gradient tool today. We're going to use the brush. And we're just going to use black right now. And note that you can control lots of things with a brush. You can control opacity. And you can control brush size. Okay, that's a solid brush size. Also, remember, you're going to split the two. So maybe give yourself a guideline. Where's your middle? Maybe even give yourself a guideline that says there will be no human/gorilla outside of this line. Okay? If you want to do that. Tip 2, under view, guides, clear guides if those bug you. If they don't help you, if they annoy you, get rid of them. Okay. All right. So now I have black in my brush. I've selected this mask on my top layer, and as I brush this in, I'm not actually, I better not be painting black. Yeah, it looks like I'm painting black because the layer behind the old guy is a black background. Okay, so it looks like that's what I'm doing. But as I come through here, I'm actually just throw in my black acid on there to eat away all of that top layer. And you can see the old guy's hair coming through there. Okay. Now, I might change my opacity. I can do that. I can also choose my brush shape and choose a soft brush shape that has soft edges. I can use a smaller size. I can do all those things. So, but I'm going to make a couple strokes here that are, oops, dang it, I went way too far. What can I do? I can just hit X, switch to my white, and put my gorilla back. But I'd have to paint the white at full opacity to get it all the way back. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. Just going to toggle between those two. Use your brush tool and eventually create that image that has your half human, half gorilla, slowly fading from one to the other. Okay. When you're done, you'll export as a PNG. Remember that PNGs can preserve transparency. We don't really need transparency for this, so I'm going to uncheck that just to make the file smaller. And then I would export, give it a name that is easy to find. I named mine Guyrilla. Yeah, you're welcome. You can steal it. Maybe. All right. But there you go. That's how to do what we're doing.